Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a wedding bombshell that's about to tear hip-hop history apart. What if we told you the love story you thought was legendary? Papoose and Remy Ma, the ride-or-die fairy tale that survived prison bids and reality TV was actually built on a massive lie. Because according to a string of newly leaked photos, receipts, and one anonymous Vegas chapel employee, Papoose may have legally married Claressa Shields while Remy Ma was locked away behind bars. Yes, you heard that right. Not a fling, not a rumor, a full-blown till death do us part situation allegedly kept hidden for over a decade, sealed behind NDAs, fake names, and one suspiciously missing marriage license. And now the photos have leaked. White dress, matching tux, rose petals, and a man in a Yankees fitted who looks a whole lot like Mr. Loyalty himself, saying, "I do, but not to Remy." Could this be the biggest betrayal in hip-hop marriage history? Or is there more to the story than even Remy ever knew? Buckle up because we're about to uncover the secret wedding that shook the industry and the woman who never saw it coming. Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought you knew Loyalty, think again. Because what we're about to expose is not just a betrayal. It's a complete rewrite of one of hip-hop's most sacred love stories. For years, the world held up Papoose and Remy Ma as the blueprint. He waited while she served her time. She came out and praised him as the ultimate ride or die. Magazines wrote about them. Reality TV romanticized them. And fans, they ate it up like it was gospel. But behind the scenes, while Remy was locked away, holding down her sentence in Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, something was happening in the shadows. Something no one, not the industry, not her fans, not even her closest friends ever saw coming. Enter Claressa Shields. Now, we all know Claressa, the two-time Olympic gold medalist, the self-proclaimed G-What greatest woman of all time, and one of the boldest voices in sports. What most people didn't know, she was allegedly playing a very different kind of match in 2010. And her tag team partner, none other than Papoose himself. At the time, the two were spotted casually working together. Charity events, training camps, some light appearances here and there. Nothing too suspicious, just community love. Or so we thought. But what if we told you that while Remy was locked in a cell, counting the days until she could reunite with her man, Papoose and Claressa were planning a secret wedding in Las Vegas? That's the claim now circulating across the internet thanks to a newly leaked set of grainy time-stamped wedding photos that seem to show Papoose and Claressa standing at the altar in a quickie Vegas chapel complete with a minister, a bouquet, and what looks like a rented Rolls-Royce in the background. One photo, blurry but telling, shows the groom in a Yankees cap with an unmistakable smirk. The bride wearing white with boxing gloves dangling from her bouquet. If it's not them, it's a crazy coincidence. But if it is, then the loyalty narrative we've all believed for over a decade just shattered in real time. So, let's rewind. How did we get here? Remy Ma was sentenced in 2008 to an 8-year prison term for assault. Papoose immediately went public, vowing to stick by her side, even attempting to marry her while she was incarcerated. Though the ceremony was famously called off after he was caught allegedly trying to sneak a handcuff key into the prison. Yes, that actually happened. But here's where the plot thickens. According to documents that have now surfaced through a whistleblower blog, we'll call her at the tea is boiling, Papoose made multiple trips to Nevada during the 2010 to 2011 period under an alias, Shamal Maki, his real legal name. During one of these visits, he allegedly stayed at a boutique hotel just 5 minutes from the infamous A Little White Chapel. The same chapel that appears in the now leaked wedding photos. Even more suspicious, a woman matching Claressa Shields' description using the name C. Brown reportedly booked a hair and makeup session at a nearby salon on the same day. The leaked receipt dated June 4, 2011 was paid in cash and includes a note. Wedding glam. No photos, please. A coincidence? You tell us. But it doesn't end there. 2 weeks after that date, a private post from Claressa's now deleted Facebook profile reads, "What happens in Vegas changes everything." Harmless? Maybe. But given what we know now, it feels like a digital breadcrumb. Especially when you combine it with another now surfaced image of Claressa rocking what appears to be a wedding band in a training video dated June 15, 2011. Fans wrote it off as a fashion ring at the time. Today, it's got folks zooming in like it's the Zapruder film. And where was Remy Ma while all this was supposedly happening? Sitting in prison, isolated, writing rhymes, waiting for the man who promised to stay true while the system kept them apart. Now, to be clear, there's no marriage certificate on public record under their known names. But sources, including a former Nevada court clerk speaking anonymously, claim that officiants in certain Vegas chapels can use nicknames, initials, or aliases when couples request discreet ceremonies. One insider even claimed they found a handwritten ledger with the names S. Mackey and C. Brown signed on a page marked private file, no press. Could that be them? Could Papoose have really tied the knot with Claressa, all while the world praised him for being the most loyal man in hip-hop? And more importantly, did Remy Ma know? According to one of her former Love and hip-hop castmates who asked to remain nameless, but let's just say rhymes with Disha, Remy always had this tension around Claressa. She never said it directly, but the vibe was icy. She didn't like that girl around Pap. Now it all makes sense. Let's not forget Papoose and Claressa's friendship didn't end in 2011. They've continued to be spotted together over the years at events, in interviews, even at that controversial 2022 boxing fundraiser where the two were way too cozy during the after-party. At the time, fans called it harmless. Looking back now, that was probably the reunion of Mr. and Mrs. Vegas. Still not convinced? Then explain why Remy Ma has never appeared in a single photo with Claressa. Not once. Not at public events. Not on red carpets, not even backstage. In fact, during Claressa's BET Sportswoman of the Year win when Papoose clapped from the second row, Remy reportedly left the venue early. That wasn't just coincidence. That was smoke. And you know what we say here at Gossip Spill Vibe. Where there's smoke, there's usually a messy secret Vegas wedding behind it. So, here's where we stand. Wedding photos have leaked. Aliases line up with travel and booking records. A handwritten chapel ledger puts S. Mackey and C. Brown in the right place at the right time. And the so-called Queen of Loyalty might have been a last to find out she was playing second wife the whole time. But don't go anywhere because what happened after the wedding is where things get even uglier. Because if this marriage was real, then someone had to pay to make it disappear. So, what do you do when your underground Vegas wedding from over a decade ago suddenly resurfaces and the woman you married back then just so happens to be the rival of your current wife? If you're Papoose, apparently, you say nothing. Yep. Since the leak of those wedding photos, the blurred bouquet shot, the fitted cap groom at the altar, and the infamous boxing gloves in the bouquet moment, Papoose has gone completely ghost. Not a tweet, not a freestyle, not a single public appearance. And for a man who usually raps about loyalty every time he blinks, that silence is deafening. But don't worry, the internet has filled the void. Let's start with the leaks. Because ever since those Vegas photos dropped, more receipts have started mysteriously surfacing like the files were sitting in a scandal folder just waiting to be opened. A new leak published by the notorious blog Shade Surgical claims to show a marriage certificate stub, not the full document, but a tear-off portion of a Las Vegas wedding form dated June 4, 2011, stamped with initials SM and CB. The clerk's name redacted. The witness signature illegible, but the address 16001 Las Vegas Boulevard, the exact street of a little white chapel. Even juicier, the blog claims to have spoken with a retired wedding photographer who confirmed that a rapper couple from New York paid him $2,000 cash for a no-questions-asked shoot and requested no digital backups. His description of the groom, medium height, black hoodie, New York accent, super intense about keeping it off social media. Now, let's be clear, that could describe half the industry. But then he dropped this quote. He had me take a shot of her with her gloves tied to the bouquet. Said it was symbolic. You guessed it, boxing gloves. Again, it's always the details. Meanwhile, another leak, this one from an anonymous former assistant, alleges that Papoose and Claressa had a joint bank account briefly opened during the summer of 2011. According to this whistleblower, the account was closed just months after being flagged during a routine IRS audit. The reason listed: unusual transaction history. The assistant claims one of the transfers was labeled CR wedding expenses. Let that sink in. But wait, the plot only thickens. A heavily edited voicemail allegedly recorded from a burner phone is now circulating on forums and gossip pages. In it, a voice sounding eerily like Papoose says, "I never meant for it to get that far. I just thought I owed her something for holding me down. I ain't no Rem would ever find out." Now, could it be AI? Deep fake? Sure. But the timing is just too convenient. And let's be honest, in the court of public opinion, proof is optional. Drama is mandatory.